Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back. I am, as always, the Ohio Patriot, and this is the Ohio Patriot Education Network channel. So, for today's episode, we're going to basically do a review of the latest season of Cobra Kai, and then, talk about, as the title suggests, political BS. A little more to do with what happened with my state rep this week, and then a few stories about Democrat hell pockets across this fucking country that, yeah, they're just a bunch of shit shows, dude. So, just got finished with Honda's chat a little bit ago here. Um, we were in the back chat for probably another hour or so after we finished up last night, and it was interesting. There was some interesting stuff said. I'm not going to mention anything um, here because there's no need to. That's all. You know, there's a reason it's behind closed doors. I'll say it like that, really. Uh, but yeah, it was nothing bad though. It was just a bunch of dudes BSing essentially. That being said, um, going on to Cobra Kai here. So, I watched the show since the very first season, and I've enjoyed the show for the most part. One thing I will say though, I think the show is definitely you can definitely tell that the way that we're leaning right now in this series, there is a lot of stuff going on where it's like they're not really like I'm not sure if it's the writers or it's like the actual showrunner or what it is there, but it's like they're not really sure like where to take this anymore. And so you basically have like just some really really bad episodes, and then you have like some decent episodes, and then you have like this mediocreness in between. And I was talking to some other people about it last night and stuff. And my thing is, watching the first two episodes of this season, I think they're pretty much worth skipping, honestly. Like there's maybe like I would say maybe like 5 minutes between the two episodes, maybe 10 actually at most, because you're talking about essentially like 30 to 40-minute episodes, give or take, each. And I would say there's maybe like 5 to 10 minutes in between those two of actual material that made logical sense, and the rest of it was basically just like filler crap, is what it was, dude. And my thing is, like, I have no problem with having like a storyline set in Mexico or anything like that. And of course, if you're going to be in Mexico, you're going to have most people speaking Spanish and stuff like that because again, that's their native language is what it is. My problem is though, and this is something I've never been a fan of when it comes to movies or TV series or anything like that, is having to pay so much attention because you have to read subtitles that you can't do anything else. It's kind of annoying because like, I'm one of these people that's like, I'm gonna watch a show, and I'm also gonna like, maybe fuck around with like gaming stuff or something like that at the same time, because it's sort of like distraction kind of thing, and essentially it's like background noise in some cases and stuff. Um, and yeah, like those two episodes, it was like really hard to do anything in because you're like, oh well, what else are they gonna say in Spanish or something like that today? And it's like, again, it's not a knock on any particular culture or anything like that. I'm just saying like if they're gonna do stuff like that, it would have been nice to have like with any of these Hollywood things, whether it be movies or TV shows or whatever the case be, just be like go in there and be like, hey, just to let the audience know like these two episodes are only going to be partially in English or something like that. If that'd be the case, then and it would make a lot more sense, honestly. But yeah, like the entire storyline for the first two episodes, it was really not good. Um, I think the gist of it was basically supposed to be Johnny getting to back to square one with his own son, and then basically Miguel being like his second like surrogate son, essentially is what it is. And it's sort of like that, yin yang, yin yang or yin yang, whatever it is. Uh, the symbolization, the light, dark, and stuff like that. Where it's supposed to be like, okay, here's the light and here's the dark, and they come together as like one essentially and form just like the symbolization is what it is. And I think that's kind of what they were trying to lead to there. And I get where they're going to at that point, but I don't think a lot of people did is what it was. Um, and then yeah, the rest of the series for this season, it wasn't bad. Like there was some interesting stuff that happened here and there, and then there was some mediocre stuff that happened there. Obviously, when you're making the entire season basically about Cobra Kai now being like this massive dojo and shit, and I think really what it is they're trying to set up season 6 now with another tournament is what it is, because that's one thing that seemed like about like the last half of this season there was like this weird like international tournament they were talking about and trying to get people like, you know, able to participate in and shit like that. And I think that's kind of where they were going with it for season 6 then, because the thing with that series is when you're looking at, you know, most of the main cast at this point, with the exception of a couple of the teenagers who are actually teenagers still, underage, you know, can only work X amount of hours because of that fact, because they have the child labor laws in place there in Hollywood. Versus, you know, these people like the kids that play Miguel or Sam or Tori for that matter, who are like, you know, early 20s, mid 20s at this point. I think actually both the girls that play Sam and Tori were like 25 plus or something now, which is fucking crazy. Like that Mary Moser chick that plays Daniel's daughter, she does not look it at all. And the girl that plays Tori, like I could see her being like early 20s, honestly, but like I think she's even maybe more like late 20s now. I'm thinking about it, but yeah, like most of the other kids that are in there, like, you know, like I said, 18 plus and stuff like that, which is nice because again, if you're going to focus on that group of people and stuff for most of your storylines, it's not going to be an issue then because they can work around the clock because, you know, they're over the age of 18 and they can do legal consent and shit like that for, you know, working extra hours or working, you know, long days or whatever it is, versus these kids like the kid that plays Daniel's son or some of these other younger kids like the one Asian girl that plays Devin. Like I know she's still underage and stuff like that. And like I said, with Daniel's son Anthony, he's also underage still. And that's the thing. Like those kids can only be there for, you know, X amount of time on set before it's like an automatic, like, no, child labor laws kick in. You can't be on set anymore is what it is there. And so you're having like less storylines with those kids, or even like the kid that plays Kenny. I think he's still underage too, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, if you want to make a legit villain, dude, in this fucking series, that Kenny kid is a fucking asshole, dude. Like seriously, like he has no redeeming qualities whatsoever in this fucking series anymore, dude. I mean that verbatim. And even like him being the first one to like sort of throw down the Cobra Kai shit at the end of the fucking season, you know, spoiler alert there. Like fuck him, dude. Seriously, like that's the one bitch who should have stayed with fucking Cobra Kai, honestly, because this kid is such a punk motherfucker, dude. Like, seriously. And he's just a hateable character, is what it is, dude. Like, I don't know if that's specifically how they wrote him to be, or if it's just the actor playing the fucking role that's just a douchebag, or what the fuck it is, you know? But, like, yeah, like, I fucking hate that kid, dude. Like, legitimately. And some others out there might not hate him as much as I do, but like, yeah, this kid just seems like a punk ass bitch, honestly, dude. Or it might be just the character's written as a punk ass bitch. I don't fucking know, but it's like, unless they're gonna do season 6 where he has like this crazy redeemable story arc, and even then, it's got to be like way the fuck over the top to really get me fucking reeled in, you know. Yeah, there's no reason to have him back after this, dude. Like you could have basically essentially the way that they end this season, you could essentially have that kid just sort of fade away into the ether and just never come back to the series, dude. And they're just like, oh, what happened to Kenny? And it's like, oh, you know, his dad being in the military, they had to move again because dad got redeployed someplace else or some shit like that. And that's how you write his ass out. It's that simple, dude. It's just somebody saying, oh, yeah, it sucks. His, you know, his parents in the military and they had to up and move and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. Because I think, if not mistaken, it's not only his father is like a military dude. I think his mom is too, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it could easily be something like that where you basically just have it be a situation there of like, oh yeah, kids, you know, military parents and stuff like that had to move out of state and whatnot. They're being redeployed to like Hawaii or some shit, you know, or something. And yeah, that's an easy write out right there, dude. And I think truthfully, with the way that this entire story has come to this point in the show's history, it would be a good send-off, honestly, because you could write the kid out on a note to where it's like, oh, okay, cool, he's gone now. All right, cool, whatever. And it's not an issue where it's like you have to do like a whole like overarching or redeemable story arc kind of thing and stuff like that. Because that's the one thing as well with this entire season is, and actually going back to season 4 for that matter, you had a lot of shit going on in both of those seasons where they were basically trying to give everybody basically a redeemer arc is what it was. And the thing is, like, half of these fucking characters, dude, like John Kreese or Terry Silver or whatever, are not redeemable characters whatsoever. They are a bunch of fucking douchebag, asshole, motherfucking cunts who can fucking eat a dick, honestly, dude. And that's the big thing with those people, is they're just fucking douchebags. And the big thing is, why would you ever try to give that person redeemable quality is what it is, dude, when they're not really redeemable is what it is, you know? That being said, though, you then have, other characters, obviously, where it's just like conflicts arise and shit like that kind of thing or whatever. And yeah, there are some interesting stories there. And I was reading some article the other day that was talking about that Peyton List girl that plays Tori. And she was mentioning something about, like, how much longer can the show really go on with us as the main leads and stuff like that, because of the fact that they are over, 18 at this point. They're in their early 20s and shit like that for the most part. And the big thing there is, it's like, exactly how much longer can it go on before you have to graduate and shit? Because the thing right now, as far as I'm aware, is most of these kids should already be like juniors or seniors at the low end, is what it is, if not already graduated right now. And yet, they're still in high school apparently, and it's like, that doesn't even make any sense right now, honestly. But yeah, I think truthfully, if they did season 6 where it was like, okay, we're gonna have them graduate high school and stuff like that, and then it sort of ends with them like going off to wherever, and that's how they basically end it with like season 6, with them just like sort of going off in the ether to their own separate places. Maybe some go to college, maybe some don't go to college and go to like trade schools, maybe some just, move on and get, day jobs and shit like that. Who the fuck knows, And it could be that simple, honestly. But the thing is, if they're gonna do that and they're gonna end it with like season 6, I would prefer that they did season 6 as like a 2-part kind of thing, where instead of it being like 10 episodes, it's like 15 or 20 for that matter, because that way you actually get to have like a real end to that stuff, and it's not just like 5.5, 6 hours, whatever, in between everything, unless you're going to do like hour-long episodes for every single one of those 10. Because the thing is, with this past season, I think there was, for the most part, like 1 or 2, with the exception of the finale, that were over a half hour. Everything else is like right around a half hour. And then the finale one, I know, was like, I think an hour and like 15 minutes or something like that. And there was a couple that were like 40-ish minutes or like 35-ish minutes, something like that. And the thing was, like, even those weren't, fully half hours. They were like about 27, 28 minutes or whatever the case be. And then it was like 4 or 5 minutes of subtitle, or 4 or 5 minutes of titles and stuff like that for like the cast and all the, oh, this is done by this and this and this and this and this and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Like, you're basically looking at like a 27, 28-minute episode for the most part in a lot of those. But yeah, my thing with that is, I think they could easily do something a little more interesting and make it, like I said, like a 15 or 20 episode arc or something like that, where it's basically you just start wrapping up different storylines, different places and shit like that. Maybe have Anthony finally be, a breakout star on his own and be able to, live in his father's legacy, is what it is, as the next generation of a Karate Kid. And that could be where it kind of ends, honestly. Would be sort of like an Anthony LaRusso story arc, if that'd be the case then. Because the thing was, when you look at that kid from the beginning of this series, like, he was not a good character at all, dude, to begin with. And I'll tell you what, I thought they actually changed the actor out last season, but apparently it was just the kid having a big ass fucking growth spurt and shit like that, like basically hitting puberty is what it was, dude. And I'm just like, holy fuck, bro. But yeah, they could easily do something like that, I think, honestly, with him just being like the next, generation of Karate Kid, essentially, is what it would be then. And, that's how you end that storyline or whatever. That's maybe how you end the entire series, for that matter, or something, versus everything else going on there. So, but overall, I would say this particular season, with the exception of the first couple episodes, it was probably like a 3.5 star out of 5. Maybe 3.8, honestly, if we're gonna be generous about it. It wasn't no 5-star season though, and it definitely wasn't even a 4-star season because there was a lot of stuff that were like misses in it. I think that were like missed opportunities and shit. Where, like I said, there were quite a few episodes that were just like pure filler. It seemed like, and it's like, okay, so where is this really going? And then it's like the last like 5-10 minutes of the show. It's like, oh, okay, so it leads to this big fight or something like that kind of thing. One thing I did appreciate, and again, spoiler alert here, for the end of this season was they finally gave Stingray a redeemable arc in this one, and I'm actually happy about that because that dude was kind of like he was a really odd character to begin with. Number one, I think it was back in season 2 is when he was introduced there, and it was very weird in general to have like you essentially have like a grown ass man that's in his like probably 30s or even like early 40s for that matter, who is hanging out with like teenage kids and shit in a fucking karate dojo, and it's like, you mean to tell me there's not adult classes for this dude and some other people? Like, come on, bro. Um, but yeah, like that always I thought was pretty fucking like didn't really make any sense, honestly. But then like this season kind of brought it back full circle and shit of like, yeah, the guy's just this dude or whatever the case be that can't get along with people his own age and shit like that, and it's just sort of meshes because the thing is like it's basically like nerd culture kind of shit, and the thing is like when you look down at like nerd culture and stuff, that does sort of transcend generational gaps and stuff. To certain aspects and shit, whether it be D&D or MTG or anything, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff like that, any kind of those like tradable card games and stuff, collectible card games, or like I said with D&D, or whether it be like Warhammer or something like that. Like, yeah, you can have different people of different age groups and stuff like that all be friends is what it is, and it's not really weird or anything like that. Versus, sometimes it is kind of odd if you look at it from a different perspective and stuff. But yeah, needless to say, he basically got a redeemer arc in this the season of the series, and I think overall it was good. It was a good play on their part for that. It was enjoyable how he got his redeemable qualities and stuff like that going on, and yeah, overall it'll be interesting to see what happens with season 6 of this show, especially how it ended with the spoiler, you know, big ending reveal. I'm not going to give it away or anything like that. Go watch this season because it is worth watching, honestly. Moving on to political BS for a few minutes here. This is actually something that I did want to talk about because I did talk about it in the. I don't remember if I talked about it in the video yesterday that I did, or a couple days ago I did when I was talking my state rep and stuff, or if it was in just the Rumblequake video I haven't put up yet. But basically, there was something said in that, and this is what I thought was interesting. Going to shifting topics here, constitutional carry, and then specifically two-way sanctuary is what it is. So since I actually got into firearms, the thing was I got into firearms almost 4 years ago now, and it was less than a year after I became a gunner in this country is when you had the Dayton massacre happen, and they had all the Democrats in the Ohio State House basically try to fuck around and show they were complete oath-breaking pieces of shit is what it was, dude. Try to push Bloomberg anti-gun legislation through red flag laws, universal background checks, etc. Magazine bans was another one of them at the time. And the thing was with that, like that should have been an immediate DQ from them for them being out of office at that point. Like it should have been like, nope, you're done here. You're committing fucking like serious felonies. You're breaking your sworn oath to office by introducing this bullshit ass legislation. You're clearly taking bribe money from Bloomberg and company to do this crap. Like, go fuck yourself. You're going to prison now, kind of thing. Of course, that didn't happen. What did happen though is that because you had these dumbass Democrats do this fucking bullshit a couple days after Dayton, you had people like myself a couple of months later basically form a grassroots coalition of various networks of people and various groups of folks that then became a thing at some point in the future after that, like the later months of 2019 and early 2020. And it was basically us trying to get a Second Amendment sanctuary going at a county level, and then eventually it got picked up by the state house this last uh, past year in our General Assembly, and unfortunately has been sitting in committee since then, basically. And I was talking to my state rep about that the other day, and what he said, and basically went off on this whole thing about the NRA, and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, nobody gives a shit about NRA lobbyists. Fuck them. Seriously, dude. But basically what his thing was is like, oh yeah, we've talked with some head people of NRA for the state of Ohio, and they don't want us bringing it forward and shit. I almost called. I seriously debated about just like calling his ass out on this shit, because it's like he was basically just giving me like this nonsensical runaround is what it was, and what he was saying was essentially like, oh yeah, the NRA doesn't want us bringing this up to votes because, oh, it might confuse people about stuff. It's like, no, dude. The reason the fucking piece of shit fucking scumbag cunts at the NRA don't want you to bring it up for fucking votes, dude, is because they know if it actually passed in the state of Ohio, that their bullshit ass fucking lobbying would lose a fuck ton of money in this state. And that's a good one with all these fucking gun groups, dude. You know, except for the ones that I run right now, honestly, because they're all nonprofits. And they have like no fucking actual, you know, funding for them right now until we actually fill the coffers, hopefully at some point in the future. But the big thing is when you look at like 99% of gun groups, dude, whether it be anti-gun groups, whether it be pro-gun groups and stuff like that, you know, whether it be larger ones like the NRA or, you know, to a lesser extent like GOA or FPC or something like that, or whether it be like statewide orgs like Ohio Gunners or, you know, their sister equivalents there with the Door Brothers and shit. They are all after fucking money, dude. Because I swear to fucking God, I could go to my email right now and show you guys like 50 fucking emails from all these places, dude, that are just like, oh, well, we see you should be part of us, but you haven't paid your yearly dues yet. And it's like, and I'm not going to fucking pay that shit because you're not going to get a fucking dime out of me, dickheads. Like, that's the entire point. I'm my own fucking group to be against anti-gunners is what it is, dude. I'm my own pro-gun organization here. So it's like, why would I give you money as a statewide org or a fucking federal org and stuff like that has done, like, basically proven to me you've done nothing for me right now as a gunner of this country, especially the fuckers at the NRA, dude, who have actively, like, fucking backdoored us and fucked us in the ass several times at this point, up to and including, like I said, when it came to constitutional carry this year, literally talking with State Rep DJ Swearingen, fucking rhino sack of shit, about adding in Terry stops to the fucking legislation, which that scumbag piece of shit did, even though had he not done so, you could have easily had that fucking bill get across the damn finish line completely cool and totally clean. But no, they had to muddy up the fucking waters and put in stupid bullshit into it, dude. And it's the same thing with constitutional carry. And like I said, or not constitutional carry, stand your ground, as I was saying. I talked to my state about that one too as well, about doing like the other version, you know, that Ken Keller and Ron Hood were behind the stuff. And his thing to me was the reason that they passed that Senate version one a couple, like last year is what it was, is because, oh, we wouldn't have had the votes otherwise because too many people didn't want to fucking essentially put their careers on the line, is what he was saying there, which is absolute bullshit entirely, because it's like, motherfucker, you people are working, like, seriously, do you not understand that the constituency is your fucking boss? I am your fucking boss, bro. Everybody in the state of Ohio that is a voter in this state is your fucking boss. We are the ones telling you what to fucking do and how to fucking do it, and you're supposed to be the person that is elected to represent us in our state house to get shit fucking done and do what we want you to fucking do, which includes passing pro-gun legislation without any bullshit fucking amendments to it, dude. And that's the entire problem right now in a nutshell, honestly, is people not doing their fucking job like that. And then being like, oh, well, we would have had the votes, but we couldn't get them without doing this. Bullshit, dude. Fucking bullshit. It's absolute fucking bullshit, and I'm sick and fucking tired of it, dude. I am so fucking sick and tired of it right now, honestly. And it does make me want to run for office at this point because of that fact, dude, because I'm fucking so fed up with this shit, dude. You know, there's a reason why 6-7 months ago I came up with a Primary Everybody 2022 thing, dude. And it's because of the fact that I was so fucking fed up with all this bullshit, dude. And it's that exact reason why, man. Because there's no reason for people to not do their jobs at this point. unless they actively want to fuck you over and fuck over your constitutional rights and want to be an oath-breaking piece of shit, honestly, dude. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most is it's like this fucking push and pull shit. And I think I mentioned it the other day, but I'm not sure. So while I was talking to my state rep there, he had mentioned something to me because I mentioned something to him about like, yeah, you should throw your hat in the ring for, Speaker of the House is what it is next General Assembly. And his thing to me was, oh, I don't really like to talk to lobbyists all that much or really get stuff done, sort of in the shadows, essentially, is what he was saying there, which is kind of fucked up in of itself. But yeah, the entire point was, though, he made a statement to me and said something about how in order for somebody to become a Speaker of the House in Ohio, and I'm guessing it's like this with a lot of other speakers across this country in various states and stuff, they basically have to suck the dick of a bunch of lobbyist groups and get over $1 million fucking dollars in various corporate donations from lobbying groups, dude, to even stand a shot to get the speakership. And it's like, what the heck? Like, and people wonder why Ohio is one of the most bribed fucking states in this entire country, dude. Like, no fucking wonder when you're talking about literally fucking douchebags running for Speaker of the House, taking fucking $1 million worth of fucking bribes from people, dude. Jesus. Like, no fucking wonder Larry Householder went down for HB6 scandal, dude. And DeWine and Husted and everybody else in the fucking top brass of the Republican Party and every fucking Democrat in our state house should have fucking followed suit, going off to prison with his ass is what it is, dude. And I mean federal prison. I'm not talking about state prison either. I'm talking about fucking hardcore ass-banging fucking FBI is going to come kick your fucking door in prison, honestly, dude. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit entirely, man. I'm fucking sick and tired of it, honestly. It just infuriates me to no end at this point, man. And again, it's exactly why I mentioned to the man about doing statewide recall voting at this point, because I just want to start recalling people. Like, if nothing else, I'm just going to start leading petitions to just start recalling a shitload of people if that becomes law in this state, dude, which it fucking should have already been at this point, honestly, dude. And, especially if it can be proven that these people are committing crimes and shit, dude, like, even a misdemeanor should be an ability to be recalled at this point, dude. Like, it might have been a non-intentional misdemeanor, but it was still a misdemeanor nonetheless. And especially if you're doing, like, shit that should be construed as multiple felonies, even though they might be considered misdemeanors depending on the jurisdiction and stuff like that, it shouldn't really matter because, again, you should not be holding office after that, dude. There's a reason why deprivation of rights under color of law, which is a misdemeanor in all 50 states in this country, which it should be a felony nationwide at this point. There's a reason why the lowest count on that is 1 year and 1 day in prison or like jail or whatever. And you are never allowed to hold elected office again after that's what it is, dude. And it's the same thing with the 10-year version of that, where it's like 10 years in prison, and you can never hold elected office after that. And it's because of the fact that people understand that you are a corrupt motherfucker. You have done corrupt-ass shit, and enough is enough of it, dude, honestly. And that's the biggest thing right now. And that's why I'm like, bro, like, there is no reason to have to play backdoor fucking, circle jerk bullshit. No, you guys have the fucking majority, super majority, mind you, enough votes to where if they had 60 people across the board out of 64, dude, they could pass any piece of legislation they want in our state house right now, and it would be veto proof to even if Dickhead DeWine or whoever the fuck else would be governor at the time, whatever, were to veto the shit, dude, they could override the veto. They would have the votes. But no. People just want to be like, no, I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. It's like, well, then fuck you. Get the fuck out. You're not a fucking state rep anymore. You're not a fucking state senator anymore, whatever it is, dude. Like, we don't need your bitch-ass career politician motherfucking asses here anymore, dude. It's time for new people to come in. It's time for them to take your fucking jobs. And it's time for constitutionalists to be the ones holding office at this point and doing things by the letter of the fucking law. And that law is your sworn oath to office that you take on the U.S. Constitution the day that you're sworn in. And it's really as simple as that, honestly. And like I said, it's stuff that I'm getting real pissed about right now, dude. And everybody else out there should be feeling me when I'm saying that stuff, because you should be just as angry as I am about this kind of crap, dude. Because it's not just Ohio this is going on, and it's across this fucking nation, dude. Whether it be Washington State with their bullshit mag bans this year, whether it be California and Gavin Newsom's bullshit ass fucking garbage anti-gun crap, where he keeps fucking doubling down and doubling down and doubling down and keeps pushing more anti-gun shit, completely breaking his oath to office, and yet is not being removed from office at this point. And the same thing with the California General Assembly, dude. The fact that they're willing to back this fucking cocksucker and push this shit to his fucking desk to begin with is absolutely ridiculous, dude. And like I said, same thing with Washington State there with the fucking scumbag ass Democrats in their state house pushing it through to Jay Inslee's desk, or the fucking douchebags in Oregon State, I should say in the state of Oregon, pushing it through to Kate Brown's desk, et cetera, dude. And thank fuck she's out of there come the end of the year here, man, because you know I'm like fingers crossed that Oregon can actually flip red right now, but I'm not sure it's gonna happen or not, dude. But at least it could be like hopefully maybe like a lesser evil Democrat, I guess is what I'd say, dude. Maybe, you know, Republican or Libertarian or something like that runs as a Democrat and then just flips parties as soon as they get into office kind of thing or something like that. That'd be nice to see, honestly. And that might be the way to go, honestly, with some of this shit anymore, dude, depending on the districts and stuff like that. If you're going to run for office, like just get in there real sneakily is what it is, dude. Run for the opposite party, whatever the case be, or run for a different party entirely there. And then, you know, as soon as you get in, be like, ha ha ha, I was this thing the whole time. Go fuck yourself kind of thing. And the thing is, it's not like you really be lying either, because like your whole, like potentially people's whole entire platforms would be like, nah, I'm going to do things on a constitutional basis and stuff like that. And they'd be like, but you're running as a Democrat? And it's like, yeah, that's right. And then as soon as you get in there, you're like, ha ha ha, I was actually this thing the whole time. Go fuck yourself kind of thing. So anyway, I don't know. I'd prefer to just, you know, shoot straight from the hip at this point, dude, and be for real about it. If I would ever run for anything, it would be as a Republican, specifically in the state of Ohio. And it's only because the state of Ohio refuses to recognize my political party, the Internet Libertarian Party is what it is, dude. Or any other party for that matter that's not Democrat or Republican is what it is, dude. And it's absolutely ridiculous, I think. And I think it's like that for most of the states across this country, where you go into a primary and stuff like that, and you have two fucking parties to choose from. It's either a jackass or it's a fucking elephant. And it's a bunch of shit, honestly, dude, because there are so many other people out there. There are so many other parties out there that people should be able to have that kind of choice in a primary, dude. You shouldn't have to pick, oh, I'm a fucking red state, oh, I'm a fucking blue state, whatever bullshit. No. You should have the ability to go with 50, 100, 150, whatever the fuck political parties you want to go with, dude. Any one of them at that point, you know? If you want to run as a communist, or if you want to fucking, you know, vote as a communist or whatever the case be, you should have just as much right to do that as anybody else is voting under the constitutional party or something like that, dude. Or I should say constitutional party at that point. You know, whether it be the Constitution Party, or whether it be, you know, Libertarian Party or Internet Libertarian Party, whatever the case be, you know? Doesn't matter. You should be able to vote how you want to vote, you know? And it's a bunch of crap that you don't have these political parties recognized in primaries. And I think it's a bunch of BS entirely, dude. And if that be the case and they don't have the candidates on the books or whatever the case be, that's whatever, dude. But again, that's why you allow people, if they want to vote in something like that, where it's like some third party choice or whatever the case be, just give them a fucking ballot with everybody on it then, if that be the case, man. And they can choose who they want to fucking vote for. And if nothing else, like, that be the case, that, and this is one thing that's always bothered me about primaries too, by the way, is why should I have to go party affiliation, dude? I should just be able to be like, nah, bro, I'm going to go this fucking route and I want to vote for everybody at this point, you know, kind of thing. Because my thing is, like, if there's going to be people against, you know, whoever is the person holding the office right now, maybe I want to pick their fucking opponent for them. You never know, man. And it's a bunch of BS that I can't be able to do that shit, you know? So, and I think it's like that for everybody, honestly, dude. Everybody should have that ability to do that kind of stuff, especially when you have a bunch of Democrats trying to vote Republican this go around and stuff like that, just to fuck with Republican primaries and stuff like that, dude. It's like, no, just have an open primary thing is what it is, dude. And just put every fucking party on both sides and stuff like that into one big category thing. And you can just pick and choose who you want to pick and choose. If nothing else, you're just like, hey, pick the top 2 people in this fucking thing, or whatever the case be. And you just have like 10, 15 names in there or whatever. And whoever gets the most out of those top 2 or whatever are going to be the ones running then for that office is what it is, dude. You know? Or if nothing else, have be like, okay, here's the incumbent person. Like, this person is a guaranteed slot or whatever the case be. And like, okay, who are the 1 or 2 people you want to run against them is what it is. And it's like those top, you know, 1 or 2 vote getters or whatever it is, dude. That's the person that runs against them, or those are the people that run against them, whatever it is. So, yeah, I think there's a lot that could change both at a state level and nationwide level at this point, federally. And like I said, going back to state houses and stuff like that, definitely with the state houses and shit could also change, and it would all be for the better. And it would start with people actually, demanding that their actual representation obeys their fucking oath to office. If they're not going to obey their oath to office, they need to be getting the fuck out of office. To recall voting is what it is, dude. And it's really as simple as that, honestly. But I'm getting very, very tired right now. My eyes are like seriously about to close for the day, is what it is. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.